Peach Time Out on Fort Myers Beach. And you're watching on Facebook Live or you're watching on YouTube. You can check us out on the YouTube channel. We want to say hello to everyone listening on the Florida Podcast Network. In addition to you coming to you, I hear the fire engine.
I know. Well, it's an ambulance.
In addition to coming to you live on Facebook and on YouTube, you can check out the show on Spotify, on iHeartRadio, Spreaker, the Apple Podcast app, iTunes. Where else? BeachTalkRadio.com. And we encourage you to download our app. You can go to the Apple App Store and download the app for free. Episode number 51. The first 50 episodes are archived on the app. And we like you to, check us out and like us on all of the aforementioned
social platforms.
Right. And we have a great show lined up for you today. Coming up in the second part of the show, a brand new business on Fort Myers Beach called Vitality opened up. And the owner, Tina Terrell, is going to be here. So we're going to be talking to her in the second segment of the show. And, of course, the always funny and witty wife and I will talk toward the end of the show.
You blanked on my name for a minute.
The wife. But right now we have something.
Do you like my glasses?
Yes. You want to give the plug? Go ahead and give the plug.
No, Karen hooked me up. Now, my mother doesn't like these because they're reflective, but I got the okay from everybody else. They all voted.
So Karen is the sunglass lady across from Beach Time Out. So if you're ever on the beach and you run out of sunglasses or break them or
run out of them.
Right.
Yes. Today would be a good day to come down. The weather is fantastic. There's a nice little breeze.
Yep. Everything's nice.
Everything's busy. Come on down.
And I'm going to talk about my trip to Las Vegas earlier in the week. So
I can't wait.
Sure, you're on the edge of your seat.
I am. I'm on the edge of my new stool.
Right. So right now I'm going to turn it over to the wife and a special guest there. Look at that. 2 guests. One you didn't even know of.
There you go. So we have Rachel from Crow this morning, and I'm so excited to have you come on. Crow is near and dear to my heart, so this will be super fantastic. And who do you have with you?
So with me this morning is Nana. She is a yellow rat snake. These snakes are indigenous to Southwest Florida, also known as the Everglades rat snake. You'll tend to find these guys up in the palm trees eating all those palm rats that nobody likes.
Well, that makes sense. It's a rat snake, right?
Absolutely.
And so tell us a little bit about Crow, or a lot of bit about Crow.
Well, I mean, for our team collectively at the organization, it's a very exciting time. Crow does stand for the Clinic for the Rehabilitation of Wildlife, for those of you guys who aren't familiar with us. We've actually been in operation for 50 years as of last year in 2018. We are Lee County's only licensed wildlife rehabilitation service. So when critters locally become sick, injured, or orphaned, particularly what's happening now with baby season, they come to us. We provide them some kind of care with the hopes of getting them back out into the wild.
And it's located on Sanibel.
Yes,
What's the exact address?
The address is 3883 Sanibel Captiva Road. So once you get onto the causeway, it's about another 15, 20 minutes out as heading toward Captiva.
And is it across from, what is it? What's the nearest landmark to it?
I would say the nearest landmark is the Ding Darling National Wildlife Refuge. We're just a hair past the refuge on the opposite side of the street.
Great. And you talked about the 50 years, long time. So can you give us a little bit of the history of Crow?
Absolutely. So Crow started in 1968 when our founder, Miss Shirley Walter, discovered a hurt bird on the Sanibel Causeway. And when she saw that it was hurt by a person, she felt responsible and wanted to help it. Well, that one bird, it really took the city by storm. And so in that first year, about 500 animals were brought to her home.
To her
private home. The first couple of years, we existed only in name. And from 72 until 80, it was all run out of homes. So now we are on our 12 and a half acres on Sanibel Captiva Road. And we've gone from 500 animals a year to well over 4,000 animals a year.
And so I was reading through the history. So the first veterinarian was a female, Phyllis.
Yep, Dr. Phyllis Douglas. And she had opened her newly practiced Coral Veterinary Clinic on Sanibel Island. And they are still in operation to this day.
Wow. So how many vets do you have on staff now?
Well, we have a little bit of everybody. Crow
Okay.
has 2 staff veterinarians. Dr. Heather Barron is our medical and research director. So she oversees all of our teachings and conferences and research projects. We have Dr. Robin Lynn Bast, who is our staff veterinarian and takes care of all the day-to-day operations. But we also have 2 visiting veterinarians that come each year to learn about wildlife medicine. So at any one given time, we can have 3 to 4 veterinarians on the premises. We've got a full-fledged medical team there to serve our patients.
Amongst a lot of other volunteers and staff members as well.
Absolutely. So obviously we don't have necessarily the staff to take care of 4,000 animals a year on our own.
Yes.
4,000 plus. So we have around 200 active volunteers.
Wow.
And last year they helped us collect over 21,000 hours of time. And then we also have the students. So if there's any future aspiring wildlife care professionals out there, you can actually apply to live on Sanibel Island in our student dormitory and work with our medical staff.
Wow. I would think there would be people lining up in droves to get an opportunity to work with animals and live, she said, on Sanibel Island.
Absolutely.
Not too shabby. Not too shabby.
Not at all.
So what are some of the other programs that exist out there?
Well, other than patient care, we feel as though it's our responsibility to educate the people about animals like Nana and our patients. So we have an on-site visitor education center that's open on Saturdays through April and
Okay.
from May through December, Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. We offer daily presentations and hospital tours where you can work with me, go with me and some of our other team members down to the hospital and meet some of the staff responsible for the medical care.
And I was looking and it looked like there was 3 packages like that as far as education and outreach.
Absolutely. So I'm the education manager at Crow. I oversee all of those experiences. You come and just do the education center. You can do a presentation. We offer presentations featuring animals such as Nana. And then we also have the hospital tour programs. So depending on how much time you want to spend and how much money you want to support our cause with, we can tailor that experience for you.
And it's not just for individuals, groups can.
Yep, we do school groups. We do outreach events where we come out to different parks and preserves like Fort Myers Beach a couple of times throughout the year to teach people about our mission.
Mm-hmm. Your snake's getting lots of
She's getting a little
attention
chilly
down
this
here.
morning.
Oh, yes, because they're cold-blooded, right?
Yep.
So they're
So cold-blooded doesn't necessarily mean the blood is cold. It just
Right.
means they can't change their body temperatures like we can.
which is why
So-
she's getting cold.
Absolutely.
Now, Crow is initially was run by just individuals, and then it became a 501c3.
Yep. So Crow's original name was the Care and Rehabilitation of Wildlife from 1972 until about 2000. And at that point, we changed to the Clinic for the Rehabilitation of Wildlife. But we officially incorporated as a 501c3 charitable organization in 1972.
And so, how does it go with the donations? And is it well funded? Is it a struggle?
So, I mean, currently we are all privately funded.
Okay.
Our annual operating budget is about $1.7 million a year, top to
Oof.
bottom. And so the reason why we are able to accomplish the work that we do is because of the generosity and support of our volunteers and our students donating their time, generalized donations, memberships, and fundraising events, one of which we just had yesterday evening.
Tell us about that.
So that was Southern Comfort on Sanibel. So it was dinner, dancing, and a good time to support the cause. We had a live auction, raffle, and a great buffet of Southern-inspired food.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
Southern
I'm a
Comfort, I was
foodie.
like. So, what are some of the exotic animals that you get into Crow?
Well, that's a really good point because at our hospital, we take care of animals that are either native or migratory. So animals that spend their time down here year round, or a lot of times they come down here when the weather isn't exactly as nice, much like many of our snowbird tourists that come down here. So we get, most of them are going to be birds. We do treat mammals and then we treat reptiles. And in fact, Crow's the only sea turtle hospital from Sarasota down to the Florida Keys on this coast. So last year when we had the really bad red tide outbreak, we saw so many more patients than what we usually do.
I saw on the website that there was a video, and there's lots of videos on the website. The website is fantastic. There was a pelican that had gotten sick from the red tide.
Mhm.
How does that affect, the birds and the wildlife that you see coming in?
Absolutely. So red tide is something that we do see every year at Crow. It is the algal bloom, Karenia brevis, has a neurologic effect. So when animals come in, the following symptoms would be ataxia, which is kind of like a head tremor, an overall disorientation where they're walking around the beach as though they're disoriented or had too many happy hours. And then the final symptom would be when they're looking lethargic or just very, very clinically tired. And so what we offer them in terms of treatment at our facility is going to be quite a bit of supportive care, fluids, medications, and really giving them that time to process that toxin out of their systems.
And then how are are all of the animals released? How does that work?
So at Crow, we would like for obviously every animal that comes in to be released. But as a trauma center, there is going to be times where an animal might come in with a very severe trauma, where it's been out in the wild, injured and hurt for quite some time, that we can't fix it. And so unfortunately for those cases, we would humanely euthanize them so they weren't suffering. But other times animals might be better, but they might have something about them that makes them non-releasable. And so for those animals, those are the ones that we can utilize as educational animals. So on our campus, we have 3 educational birds who all have wing injuries. We have an educational possum, Bashful. He's one of the crowd favorites. And then some turtles and other snakes. So we've got like a whole cadre of animals at our facility that may not have been able to be released, but now they serve a great purpose, educating the public.
So you keep them there you can keep them there long term.
Absolutely. We apply for licenses. All of our rehabilitation is managed and governed through Florida Fish and Wildlife and U.S. Fish and Wildlife. And so we apply for some permits to keep any of these non-releasable animals. Or if we don't have space, we can transfer them to other zoos, wildlife centers, and aquariums across the country.
Now, what are some of the injuries that you see the animals come in with?
Well, most of the issues that we see for our patients at Crow are going to come from something called a negative human interaction. Now, this doesn't mean that people are purposefully going out and hurting animals,
Right.
But a lot of things we see, particularly being coastal, are going to be hook and line related cases, vehicle related trauma, cat and dog attacks. And so my job is very important, as well as the other members of our team, because we try to share that information that we have, like our patient stories, so that people can have healthier, sustainable relationships with wildlife.
And you don't just take animals from like the Fort Myers Beach area or
Correct.
Sanibel, right?
Absolutely. So of the 4,500 plus animals we take in every year, most of them actually come from off Sanibel and Captiva. So about 80% of them come from the greater Fort Myers area and Cape Coral and the surrounding areas.
And what should someone do if they see an injured animal?
Well, the first
Thank
thing we'd
you.
want you guys to do is to call Crow. So our hospital is open 365 days of the year. So that means regardless of the holiday or the religious observance, we're here. So you call us. We have a hotline that's active 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And when you call in, you'll go through a consultation with one of our rescue admissions specialists to figure out if the animal needs to be brought in. And if it does, how do we get it to Crow? Now, obviously, Sanibel's a little
distance.
detached
Mhm.
from the remainder of the county physically. So we do partner with 10 different dog and cat clinics all throughout Lee County. So they're there for you and for the animals. So we have, I believe, 4 or 5 in Fort Myers, 1 in Lehigh, 3 in Cape Coral, and we have them all throughout. And there's some more of our community partners.
And I will say that I have called Crow twice, and it is a stop. One time
experience.
it is an experience. I actually think it was 3 times. One was for an abandoned baby rabbit.
Mm-hmm.
One was for I think it was a squirrel. It was so little, and it was hairless, and its eyes were closed. And it was, and then one was down here at the beach where a bird was out in the water, and I thought it was a turtle swimming.
Right.
And then I was like, that's a bird. Birds are not supposed to be in the water.
At least not flailing.
No. And it actually had a very large fish appeared stuck on its talons. And I don't know if that was, but you people call, they sent somebody right over. But one of the things they did say is leave the animal alone
Yes.
and make sure that people leave it unless it's in dire straits.
Absolutely. Because sometimes people, very well-intentioned people,
Right.
come across an animal and they want to help it because it doesn't look right. And so that's why going through that consultation with us is important, because especially for things like cormorants that we see very, very commonly at the beach, they don't dry very well. They don't have that same oil proofing gland or waterproofing gland as the pelicans and the terns do. So they actually will stand out in the beaches and wave their arms to dry themselves out. And it looks kind of funny.
That's what it looks like.
Can you
Absolutely.
do that again? Nice. We do have a question from our live studio audience.
Absolutely.
From your boyfriend in Michigan.
Oh, hey, Chad.
Chad would like to know what Crow's stance is on the powerboats coming back and the wildlife in the water. Will there be any impact on the manatees?
So Crow doesn't necessarily treat manatees. We're large enough to treat sea turtles, but for us, ecotourism is a huge part of what we do. And for us, it really is working advocacy efforts with local conservation groups to kind of identify where are the potential problems with those types of additives to the environment, and making sure that every effort is taken so that, again, we can continue to sustain ourselves as an economy locally, while also respecting the presence of the wildlife so that we don't disrupt anything like manatees during their breeding season, or sea turtles. So kind of having a marriage between helping us out and helping out the wildlife. Since even with things like fishing licenses and hunting licenses, the money from those licenses go back to conservation. So it is about kind of working together as a group to make sure that happens.
Now, what is the weirdest rescue
Most
you've ever?
unusual.
Yeah, your weirdest animal or most unusual critter, like that you thought you would never have to pick up.
It doesn't have to be this year. It can
Yeah,
be in your whole
okay.
tenure there.
Yep.
Here,
So
what, they're
I've
25. I mean, how long can their tenure be?
I've
kids.
actually been at Crow the longest. So I started at volunteering in about 2010 while I was going through college, and then I did a student
See?
position, and then I now have been staff since 2012. But I'd say in the 8.5 or so years that I've been at Crow, the weirdest animal that we've ever seen was razorbill. So it's an Arctic bird that usually doesn't migrate any further south than about New Jersey.
Wow.
But when Hurricane Sandy went up the eastern coast that year, it decimated quite a bit of their food populations. And so these Arctic birds were flying further and further south the coast to try and find food. And so because these were cold birds, we were freezing blocks of ice in the freezers and trying to give them little icebergs. And
So how do you know, this probably sounds like a dumb question, but
At
how do
all.
you know what that bird is? I mean, do you know what there's so many different species of
yeah,
animals. How did you know what the bird was?
So we actually had to do a little bit of digging. Thankfully, our medical and research director, Dr. Heather Barron, she is an avian specialist. So she's one of 2 avian specialists in the world for her.
Wow.
Yeah, we're very lucky to have her and Dr.
Yeah.
Bass on our team. And so we had to do a little bit of digging in some birding books to try to find out what this bird was. And then from there, it's doing your research to figure out what types of dietary restrictions do these animals have, and what can we do to make sure that since they're out of their normal area, that we're supplying that for them.
How many did you find?
I think there were about 14 that year, and of those, only about 2 made it.
Wow.
And because they were so far down south, we actually ended up transferring them to an aquarium where they could live out the remainder of their days.
It down somewhere around here?
I think I'm over in the Midwest area, I believe.
Okay.
Wow.
So you get on a plane with these 2 birds and you take them out to the Midwest, or you drive them? Somebody drive them out there?
So we actually work also, another partnership we have is with the local airport. So occasionally when animals either miss migration because they're not feeling well, we can coordinate freight transports with them.
Well-
We just had a group of a couple of pelicans transferred to us last year from like the Minnesota area.
Where's the furthest you had to transport an animal to?
Probably the New York area. I think we've transferred a couple of like broken winged hawks to like the Adirondacks area, upstate New York. There's a ton of great like long-term captive facilities like raptor centers and wildlife centers all throughout the country.
How devastating is a hurricane to the wildlife?
Not as bad as you'd think.
Do they figure it out?
Well, Crow's hurricane preparedness plan is kind of the week leading up to the storm. If we know we're kind of in the cone of identification, the animals that are capable of being re-released are released. That way they
Okay.
have that week to prepare. Animals that are otherwise healthy but just not yet ready, they're brought up to our hospital and left enough food and water for up to, 2 to 3 days. And then
on
animals
Sanibel.
on Sanibel,
Okay.
because our new hospital is hurricane grade. It's on a secondary flooring. The upstairs area, we have flood-proof panels. We have a generator where it has 2 propane tanks. Each of those tanks can get somewhere between 7 to 10 days
Wow.
of power. With
I'm coming
before-
out there to stay.
Yep, if you got to hunker down for a storm, Crow's the place to go. And then the other thing is animals that need to be taken care of around the clock. They actually get evacuated off island with student staff and other, sometimes volunteers at different hotels. So the hotel industries are also a huge partner for us. So Crow would not be what it is today without our partners supporting our mission and making sure that we're able to do this work.
So you have like foster families for the birds or for the animals at that time?
Sometimes.
Are you?
Well, I'm just watching TV
You're like-
here. Go
you're
ahead.
like-
Got another question? Go
you're-
ahead. Jump in there.
How long is the average recovery? Is there an average?
There is an average. It will honestly depend on whether or not you're dealing with like an intensive care. So obviously a bird with a broken bone is going to be in recovery a lot longer, than than a bird that just flew into a window and might be a little disorienting. So average recovery for some of our birds would be anywhere from 3 weeks up until like 9 or 10 weeks. Some of our mammals, because most of the mammals we get in are going to be babies. Like right now, we've got about 85 baby possums in our hospital because it's possum season.
What now?
Wow.
This is a dumb
Oh,
question. but,
possums.
I mean, why save the possums?
That is a
Come
great
on.
question. I'm glad you say that.
What good did the possums do?
Well,
I didn't
all-
say it.
all of the animals that we take care of at Crow do serve a purpose, even if it isn't the most obvious of
All right.
ones. So first and foremost, with possums, they are not a rabies vector species. So when you see things like rabies in raccoons or otters or skunks or foxes, you don't have to worry about possums getting rabies because they're a marsupial and their body temperature
I
is
know
too low.
they're marsupial.
did
Okay,
not
we're-
Come
know that.
on.
Are you
Don't
okay.
make me look like a fool. I knew a possum was a marsupial.
Yes,
Okay.
please, because he can do that all on his own.
Where are you guys from originally?
Upstate New York.
Okay,
He's
so-
from Long Island, so
Okay,
he knows
so you guys
nothing.
know Lyme's disease, right?
Yes.
Possums also eat ticks. So in one season, a possum can eat anywhere between like 3,000 and 5,000 ticks. So possums help prevent the spread of Lyme's disease. They are also immune to pit viper venom. So now there's talk about different schools trying to develop snakebite medicine for people based upon possums.
I have a new love for the possum.
I know. We
what
could use
what about
them
the
at our
raccoon?
house.
Another one that really shouldn't be saved is the raccoon.
Well, raccoon. Okay, so the other thing that Crow really does, I mentioned a little bit research earlier on. Crow partners with local federal and state agencies to do research to advance the overall health and welfare of wildlife. Raccoons have a parasite that they can carry called Balis ascaris procyon, raccoon roundworm. It's a zoonotic
That I didn't know.
parasite.
Whatever you
um,
just said, that one I
transmission-
didn't know.
It can transmit itself from people to animals as a zoonotic parasite. So what we do is we test and we look at all of the different animals that come in. We do blood tests and white cell tests. There's certain places across the United States where raccoons are 100% positive for this roundworm. And so Florida currently in the 63 or so counties, I think there's only about 3 or so that test positive. Lee County is currently a negative county for that raccoon roundworm. So we test all the raccoons that come in because we feel like it's our responsibility to pay attention to the health of the animals
Yeah.
because so many things that affect them can also affect people. So just looking at things like raccoons, they're a barometer, they're a thermometer for how the health of our environment's doing. And it's same thing with like the cormorants. Some of these birds with like the red tide poisoning, they get sick well before people ever start seeing any issues. And so whenever we notice things that are potentially harmful to people, we let the local health agencies know. So those are more community partners that we have. So wildlife is just super, super important to the health of people and the health of the
What about
environment.
rats? Can't tell me there's a good reason to have a rat.
Well,
Come on.
They eat
Sometimes-
mice, right?
So with rats,
Did you ever get a rat at the Crow?
the Sanibel
the
rice
Crow.
rat is actually an endangered species, and it's being outcompeted by things like Norwegian rats.
Okay,
How
so
did
you
the
found
Norwegian rat get here?
you found one specific rat to keep.
So invasive animals that aren't necessarily originally from the area, were introduced into an area by people. Sometimes this will be intentional, sometimes this will be unintentional. With things like Norwegian rats, Asian green mussels, a lot of those animals come in out of the major ports. So we have two major international marine ports. We have the Tampa and we have Miami, and so presumably a lot of those animals come on ships or airplanes. And
Which they're not supposed to do, right? I mean, you're not.
well, not in, a lot of times. Again, these aren't necessarily intentional, but people were the driving force for their introduction.
So is there one kind of species that should be killed off? Is there something that's
Can you make that question a little bit
something
more
that's
specified?
in the rat category, something that's nasty and nobody wants around their house or anything like that?
So if your viewers have concerns with having rodent species, the best way if they can deter them is by introducing things like snakes and predatory birds.
Maybe for the latecomers, you should reintroduce the snake.
The rat snake.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
wait, I have a better question than
Okay.
yours, dear. The pythons, they're killing off all the pythons.
The Burmese pythons.
Yeah, is that good?
So Burmese pythons are another animal that is an invasive species. I believe they actually caught the largest one.
I saw that.
It was like 17 foot, and she had like 70 plus viable eggs that was developing. But yeah, so Burmese pythons are very harmful to the environment, and for
those of you that are joining us late,
Yes.
this is like the old Johnny Carson show where he brings on pets. And that thing is a rat-eating snake or something like that, right? It eats rat. How does that thing eat a rat?
They stretch.
yes, their jaws are fairly flexible. They have
That little mouth can eat a rat. Wow,
Yes.
that's crazy.
But yeah, so that's why we deter people from from utilizing things like rat poisons, because rat poisons
Oh,
never
yeah.
just affect the pest animals that you're trying to get rid of, but they also
I'm not
affect
touching
things like the owls that eat them, the snakes that eat them. So secondary toxicity still occurs at our facility. We see patients for that, but it's not as high as some of the more like vehicle related trauma cases.
How big a rat can that thing eat? I mean, that the face is like 1 inch. How big a rat can it eat? How can you get
like a moderate size,
No.
can you get that thing to open its mouth?
No.
Like so we can measure how much it could take a bite out
Why
of?
don't
Stick
you
your hand
know?
over there.
Why
She
don't
won't bite you
touch
unless
it?
you're
I'm not
rat.
touching a snake.
They're
I don't like
dry.
snakes.
Why?
All
Well,
right,
he
it's
doesn't
very
like
nice.
you. So he's sticking his tongue out to test the air, right? Because
Yep,
that's
and
how
that's how
they.
their sense of smell.
Look at
their
you.
olfactory
You're like the snake
glands.
goddess. You knew that. I didn't know that. I thought they were just looking for food.
We're all about teaching people things today.
Right.
Well, how much time do you have then, Rachel? Because for
Nice.
him,
Nothing but an insulter is what you are. Always insulting me. So do you guys take donations and volunteers and things like that?
Absolutely. So if you're looking to help us out, if you're down in the Lee County area for at least 3 months out of the year, that's our required volunteer minimum term. You would do an orientation, you'd do about a month of training, and after that, you'd be put on a shift. And obviously, we also take donations. So on our website, www.crowclinic.org, there is a tab that you can select to say support us. You can do anything from a membership, which is an annual contribution that you can renew each year. There's generalized donations, there's tributes. So if you guys have a birthday coming up or a holiday, you can say, instead of collecting gifts that we don't need
Right.
anymore,
right?
I want to donate toward Crow.
Nice.
Or if someone passed away, in lieu of flowers, you can do tribute memorial gifts to us, or just supporting us at our local events. So we have 2 other events at the end of this year. One in October is our golf tournament, and then in November is our Taste of the Islands event, which is the longest running taste event in the area.
I'm not going to ask a stupid question about taste of the
Okay.
islands.
All right. Can
Well,
I
no, we're-
now
no, like,
wait?
it's all-
So I want to say that the website is great. There's lots of videos on
Mhm.
there. There's also, you guys also have a newsletter where people can get updates on the
Yep,
patients
so
and
if-
track them.
On our website at the bottom, there's something called our e-blast. It's just a monthly e-newsletter where it updates you on our most recent programs. We do patient profiles. We're very, very active on social media, and so it might link up to like a Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter page. So there's a bunch of different options depending on how you want to become more involved in our organization.
And if you drop an animal off or, then you can follow how they're doing.
Absolutely. So every time an animal is brought into our facility, it's assigned a patient number. So that count begins every year on January 1st. and it'll go through all the way until December 31st of the same year. And when you call in, if you have that patient number handy, you can speak with one of our front desk people and they'll give you an update.
And so right now, I was looking on the website. It said you're up to 1,037 already this year.
Yes.
Which is probably more. I don't know how often that's updated, but
We update it regularly. Yes.
Wow.
So I think we're a little over 1,200 at this point.
so you're on track for a big year this year.
Bigger, better, stronger.
Before we go, we want to make sure that we let everybody know that it's your 1 year. You and Bob have been married here for 1 year.
His name is
You and
Jeff.
Jeff have been married for 1 year. Very nice. And you met each other at the Crow.
Yeah,
right?
it was a crowman.
It's just crow.
It's a crowman.
Crowmance.
Very
Yep.
nice.
So
Were you hanging over the rat?
I know, all romantically. And
Yeah. Oh, that's a cute one.
No, so Jeff and I met as students at the hospital, and then we just kind of kept in touch. And after he graduated veterinary school, he was offered a position down here in Cape Coral at a local veterinary clinic, and then the rest is history. So we're celebrating today. I'm at work, but we're celebrating our 1 year wedding anniversary this
What's
year.
the plan for tonight?
We're gonna go to a fundraiser,
Okay.
not a crow fundraiser, but another
Very
fundraiser.
nice. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming on. We
Yes,
appreciate
thank
it.
you for all of the
Thank you so much
information.
for inviting us to come out here. And if there's any way that we can keep in touch with you, please feel free to let us know.
Did you give them all the information where they can find you and all that, or just go to the website?
Yep, go to the website. On social media, we're #Crow Clinic, CROWCLINIC. And we've got Facebook, we've got Twitter, we have Instagram, we have a YouTube channel. So basically all of the avenues that you can find Beach Talk Radio, you can find Crow.
Great.
And I wanted to give the phone number 239-472-3644.
Absolutely.
So that if you're out today and you see something, say something and call them. They'll at least walk you through the process and so
Now-
you don't mess anything
Now,
up.
next time we have you on, can you bring a raccoon?
No, we don't have any education raccoons, but I could bring like a hawk or an owl. if you
Wow,
wanted.
that'd be
That would-
nice.
An owl, that would
that'd
be cool.
nice.
That would be cool. All right. Well,
Thanks
thank
so
you
much.
so much for
Thank
coming
you.
on.
Have a good day.
All right. A big hand for the Crow, folks. We appreciate
Nana.
that. And you're
And
listening.
Jeff,
You're listening to the Florida Podcast Network, the voice of Florida. Florida Podcast Network is committed to promoting local brands and businesses through a network of podcasts celebrating the Sunshine State, and you can be a part of it. Our team has successfully worked with over 50 companies to help promote their brands and will make it easy to showcase your business through the power of podcasting. Target our niche audiences through ads and host-read commercial spots on individual episodes, or contribute content to a show on a regular ongoing basis. Make your brand part of the FPM family. Head to floridapodcastnetwork.com/partner with us for more information, or to download our media kit and to reach out. The Florida Podcast Network, celebrating Florida one local brand at a time. Tina is here. Tina, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having us.
And you have a brand new business on the beach. Tell us all about it.
Yes, we do. We are owners, Leon Hanton and I, Tina Terrell, just opened a business called Wave of Vitality, and it is a Herbalife nutrition. It's a nutrition club here on the island, and we offer different types of shakes, like 65
Nice.
different kinds of shakes. All have filled with protein, 17 to 24 grams of protein, all your 21 vitamins and minerals, everything you need in a meal replacement.
Now, is this Leon here?
Yeah, this is Leon.
Leon, come on
Yeah.
over. Come on over.
Yeah.
Let's switch mics here so that you have the loud one. And Leon, come on, sit down right there, and then we'll get the whole family here, the whole Vitality family. So why did you decide to open up on the beach? It had something to do with your daughter?
It did. Yeah. So it's a long story, but kind of like the romance of the couple that was before us. So my friend Janelle lives over in Bonita Springs, and she rents a duplex off of Leon. And so we ended up meeting on a blind date.
Oh,
So I moved here in July, and then I didn't know what I wanted to do at that point. And so we were just kind of doing some odd jobs and things. And then Morgan, with my son-in-law, Nathan, who works at a nutrition club in Zanesville, Ohio, came down on vacation, and Nathan,
she
of
said
course,
Zanesville.
Yeah.
That's where Jean's from.
Really?
Zanesville. Yeah,
Yeah.
our friend Jean.
Yeah. So they work at a club there in Zanesville, and he said, Tina, you really need to open up this club down here. And I said, All right.
Wow.
Yeah. So
It's been a crazy year then.
it's been a fun.
Yeah.
It's been a fun year.
Busy, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Very,
you're
very busy.
So where did you take her on the blind date?
To Coconut Jacks.
Coconut
In
Jacks. Okay,
Bonita.
that's over down by on the other
Bonita.
side, all the way right before Bonita Beach Road. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a nice
Right.
place. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Then we went to Doc's Beach and walked on the beach after. And
Nice.
Talked and so just hit it off.
Yeah.
Really, everything.
And now you're married.
No,
Oh, okay. All right. None of my
Yeah.
business.
we haven't been dating quite a year. So
Wow.
May's going to be a year. We'll
And
be
you
dating
opened a
year.
business
And
together.
we opened a
Yeah.
business
Wow.
together.
They're,
And
they're
we're-
not married and they're
Yeah.
opening a business together.
Yeah.
What a coincidence.
That's how well we hit
Is
it
it-
off.
did you guys do that?
No, our
Oh.
daughter is opening a business with her boyfriend.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
maybe things work
yeah.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very nice. Okay. So Vitality, how'd you come up with that name?
Well, we had been debating different
Mhm.
names. Healthy's was one of them, which is the nutrition club in Zanesville. That's their name. So we kind of wanted to follow that theme here on the island. And that name was taken as an LLC. So we had to kind of dream up some
Mhm.
other alternatives, and we just kind of beat things around. And vitality means whole, as your body, soul, and spirit is all one,
Mhm.
and it's vital and it's healthy. And so we strong and vibrant, and that's what we feel that Herbalife products are able to do.
Mhm.
It adds a lot of nutrition, and you feel vibrant and full of
Mhm.
energy.
Now, from the picture, it looks like you guys put a lot of work into the inside. I mean, it looks super nice.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes.
you
Yeah,
can
we
really
did.
tell there's a lot of high end stuff in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Leon, well, it used to be Naughty Bean.
Mhm.
And so we kind of took what she had already had and just kind of added the final,
Yeah.
like little touches. Of,
Okay.
Yeah.
and I love decorating. So
Okay.
that
Yeah.
was fun. Yeah. Yeah. So it was fun for me.
Now, where exactly is it? Is it all the way down by Santini Plaza? Is that how far
It's
down?
No.
Seagrate Plaza here, by
Okay.
the Wells Fargo Bank, right in the back.
Oh, okay. Not even to the end by
No.
Tops.
Right.
About a mile
Yes.
from
Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, what do you have on the menu?
We have all, like I said, 65 different shakes on our
Mhm.
board. We
That's
have
a lot.
huge chalkboard. Yes,
Mhm.
we have 11 different Formula One Herbalife bases. And then there's all types of different recipes that's underneath those that we can actually make. And then we can even tweak those as well. The one in Zanesville, Ohio had 150 on the board.
Wow.
And that was just
Yeah.
too overwhelming. So I worked with Nathan and I said, Nathan, like, I can't,
That's
that's
a lot.
just too
Mm.
much.
Yeah.
And he's younger than we are. So his
Yeah.
memory, he can just clip them off like that. And
Okay.
so for me, I need a cheat
Yeah.
sheet, and Leon come up with that for me,
Mm.
but he put it on an iPad.
Mhm.
And so we ended up coming up with the top nutrition shakes that people loved
Mhm.
back home in Zanesville. And so we went ahead and went with those on
We
our board. And we
also
have
have teas and shakes.
teas and
Yeah.
aloes, but
Yeah.
we also cover the whole rampant, all of the Herbalife products we keep on hand, from skincare, which I use every day. We have hair products. We have 21-day cleanse products. We have a whole line it's called our 2024 Herbalife 24 line, which is all designed for athletes.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And those are all whey-based products. Our Formula Ones are soy product. And then we also have one that just came out that is vegan based. So you have the option of it's pea and rice and quinoa.
So, how long have you been an Herbalife distributor?
I've been an Herbalife distributor, since last October?
Yeah.
Yeah, last October.
And were you at both Herbalife distributors, like before the blind date?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I was a full-time lead dental assistant in Granville, Ohio.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then
And-
before that, I was doing hair and nails.
So, what convinced you that this was the right thing to do? Like, you have the dental thing going on, and then, I mean, what put you over the edge for this?
It felt good in my spirit. I love people, and I
Mhm.
love nutrition, and I love talking to people,
Mhm.
and helping them with goals, whatever it is. When I did hair and nails for years, part of that business is getting to know people and talking to them, and so for me, it's a good feel-good business.
Mhm.
And there was nothing here on the island that gave people an alternative nutritional basis to
help
go
people lose
from.
weight.
Yeah.
and
So
stuff,
Well,
so get
yeah.
involved.
So there was some fitness stuff also that you guys are doing there.
Yes.
Mhm.
So
Talk about that.
Yeah, so we are getting ready to start. We still need to file, and we've been actually open 6 weeks today. So yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So 6 weeks today, and we offer free to the community and fit clubs. So we also do wellness challenges, weight loss challenges, free wellness profiles. So you can come in, we can weigh you, we can measure, and we can set your goals. So if whatever that goal might be, and some people have to gain weight. My daughter, Nathan, worked with her weightlifting. She was what we all call skinny fat.
Okay.
And she looked great. You know, people looked at her and went, wow, you're really in good shape. But she had no real muscle tone. And so Nathan worked with her, and she gained 10 pounds of muscle
Wow.
in 9 weeks. And she looked absolutely stunning. And so those are the kind of goals that we want to help people set. But we're finding that most people that already achieve that, like yourself, you and your wife are both very fit and physical, but a lot of the population aren't, and they need a place to start.
Right.
And so for us, it's a starting place, because a lot of people don't feel comfortable
Right.
going to a fitness club
Right.
or anything like that, or even have the finances to.
Right.
So we offer cardio drumming every Monday morning at 8 a.m. We're going to be starting that up. We're just trying to get enough
It's
people.
called what?
It's cardio drumming.
What does that mean?
So it's basically a big bucket, and you take a big exercise ball, the 65 millimeter exercise
Right.
ball, and a set of drumsticks.
And you do it for a whole hour.
You do it for a whole hour.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's so much fun. And it's huge.
I've
back
never heard
home.
of that before. Where'd you
Oh,
come up with that idea?
It's huge back home.
Really?
So
Yeah.
there's so many nutrition clubs that across the board for Herbalife that are offering the either Pound. If you've heard of Pound, it's kind of the same thing, but it's with drumsticks without the ball and without the bucket. And so back home in Coshocton, it's about 45-minute drive from where I'm at in Zanesville. Rachel Boyer, she ended up starting cardio drumming, and they have a small community, a lot like the island here, and they had up to 200 people
Oh, wow.
coming to these drumming classes.
Well, what do the neighbors think when they hear that? I mean, let's think that
they-
they're being invaded by, you know.
Yeah, it was so big they had to do it in their parking lot, because there wasn't a place big enough in that community to actually be able to have a place inside.
I don't think I could do it for a whole hour.
Yeah.
I don't think I could do it for a whole hour.
Yeah.
Good
Well, you warm up. I mean, you have some
Yeah.
warm up time, but the music really keeps you going, and it really involves the brain with the body as far as the beat,
Yeah.
and it really keeps your brain intrigued. You'd be surprised at how
Fast
much,
time goes,
how
yeah.
fast the time goes and how enjoyable it is.
Well, so what other classes you have coming down
That's
the pipe?
what we
Well,
have.
and you have May 7th. I want to make sure we get that in there. That's
Yeah.
like your grand opening, right?
Yes, May 7th, we're having our grand opening. And Ryan Baker, which is our president team member, he is actually a 20K president team member. And my children grew up with Ryan.
Okay.
And Ryan owns the Healthies in Zanesville, Ohio, that my son-in-law Nathan works at. And so Ryan, probably 7 years ago now, actually started Healthies. And his dad was an Herbalife distributor. And he ended up in 6 years' time, went from just starting a club to being in the president's team. The man just took off.
Yeah.
And so his concepts are the nutrition clubs. But the best part about it is we don't actually have employees. So anyone that wants to be a distributor, make some extra money, we also provide a spot for those people within the club that they can work their business. So it's a great, not only is it good for just the community, but it's great for people that want a business opportunity.
Sure.
So it's kind of like a booth rental in a hair salon where you can pay so much a month and you can work your business out of that club. And so my son-in-law, Nathan, just from making shakes, he averaged, and I don't know, that's been what, a year ago, probably.
Yeah.
He averaged about $4,000 a month making shakes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, health and fitness is big business.
It is. And so, but so we not only provide that for the community, but Ryan is actually going to be speaking for us on our open house that we're having on May 7th. So he's going to be sharing how he started the nutrition clubs, how the business works. And so anybody that's out there that's interested and just kind of wanted to see what we're about
Mhm.
are more than welcome to come. We're actually going to be at the Baptist Church Beach Baptist Church on May 7th.
Okay, that's where the open house is.
Well, we're having the open house, so we're going to have our cardio drumming class first thing in the morning, and then we're going to have our open house at the club.
What time is the cardio drumming class?
The cardio drumming class will be at 8 a.m.
Did you get a permit from Anita for that?
Now, well, so anyway, we'll have our drumming class,
Okay.
and then actually, we probably should offer it probably more like 10 on that day.
Oh, I'm just
because
joking. I have no idea if you need a
It's
permit
really
for
tough,
that.
but
Around here, you need a permit for
for
everything.
everything. We realized that when we opened the club up. Yeah. So then we'll have the open house at the club. And that will be anywhere. We're still pinpointing that down. We're trying to work with Wink or Fox News to be able to try and get some coverage. So that'll be
Nice.
Yeah. So we're still finalizing all of the
And the cardio, are you
details.
gonna? Is it a charge for that class?
No, it's
so anyone
free.
can come down. and-
Anyone in the community.
Do you get
can
the
come
drums
down.
from Home Depot or something?
We have 5 sets there at the club that people can use if they don't have one, but they can get them at Walmart.
Oh, you want
or
people to bring their own
Amazon.com.
drums? Gotcha.
If we get a lot, and a big following, which we've found in
every week.
Yeah.
If they want to do it
yeah,
every
they
Sure,
wanna-
sure.
yeah.
So that's what time? May 7th
May 7th.
for the open house.
Well, that's what we're still trying to work out.
Okay.
But my guesstimation is right around noon.
Okay.
And then we'll do our cardio drumming class at 10, kind of get everything set up, start our open house at like 12. And then we're anticipating having Ryan, he's going to be via.
Now is this
Skype.
all day long or from?
It's kind of on the whole day, but
Okay.
it's going to be more of a PR day. We're going to offer different protein
Sample
snacks and
shakes.
samples of all the products that we have, sample shakes.
Is it all shakes or is there other
No.
foods too?
We have
Mainly shakes. We have protein bars.
Okay.
Meal replacement bars.
Lift
And-
Off, which is an energy drink, which is fabulous. So
Yeah.
we have, and I brought you a little sample of some
Oh,
of the products that
very
you and your
nice.
wife can try out.
We'll do it.
But we have
A
H3O.
sample pack. Very
Yeah.
nice. What do you got in the sample pack?
So we have CR7, which is an advanced hydration powder mix. And that is for when you're doing workouts and things, when you kind of keeps your energy level up. H3O rehydrates you. And then we also have like a little protein bite that has 4 grams of protein. And so in between meals, it kind of gives you a great tasting snack.
Very nice
that kinda
marketing
keeps you-
package here
Thank
too. Where'd you
Yeah.
get all this done?
So my daughter ended up coming up. Yeah, I love the design. So
Yeah.
like, that I do. I love it.
And the packaging too. It's
Thank
very-
you.
We gotta,
So
yeah, why don't you do stuff like that? With my Beach Talk Radio stuff. Come on.
so what
Very
I do when we started the club is we had those little cellophane packs to put our protein bites in. And when I was looking at them, I thought, you know what? I could probably just do little sample packs for people because
Yeah.
we was having customers come in and they love the product. And they're like, oh, well, we'll tell people about it. So I ended up making up little packets
That's
for
nice.
them. So they get samples of
Great
the product
takeaway.
for giving them out for us. And, so the big one actually has our menu on the back and you get a free add-on
Very nice.
with that card. And then people in the community, you'll get there's little cards that actually gives them a free complimentary shake, tea, and an aloe shot. So that anybody can come in
You
with
know,
that card.
have you ever heard
Right.
of Dennis Boback? He could be on a fitness plan. So
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He's
I'm
actually
just
our
kidding,
neighbor.
Dennis. I'm just
He's-
kidding.
Aw.
I'm
He's actually our
kidding.
neighbor.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. We love Dennis. I could be on a fitness plan. I need to get working out in the gym. So how's business so far?
It's been good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Anything else you want the 7 million listeners and viewers to know
Mhm.
about your place?
We're
By the
here
way,
to
her
support-
dad's listening too.
Oh,
Your dad's
that's great.
listening in Orlando.
The combinations are endless. I mean, you can think up your own, or we can change the
Mhm.
shakes or the tea bombs, or I mean, there's
Yeah.
endless
There's so many combinations.
Custom, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. It's
But-
absolutely.
Yeah, the
The
big
bases are all so good that no matter what you do or put with them, they taste delicious. So
Yeah, we haven't met one we haven't liked yet.
And the hours of your store are
Monday through Friday is 9 to 5, And then Saturdays is 10 to 2. And then Sundays, we are actually closed
Okay.
on Sundays. As things get picking up and more people know we're here, those hours will be a little flexible and we can broaden those. But we just want people to know that we're here in the community. We're here to help
Cool.
at any level and where you're at. And if you just want to come in and have a great, healthy alternative to ice cream, even. It's
Right.
a great way. You don't feel guilty having it.
Hi,
So
You're getting your sweets and your candy fix all in one, and it's
Mhm.
healthy.
Right, hop on one of those illegal motorized bikes, get on down to
yeah.
to the shop down there and get a nice smoothie. Well, that's awesome. Nice, unique business on the
Thank
beach,
you.
and anything
Thank
we
you.
can do to help.
Sounds
You ever think about doing a podcast, a weekly podcast?
A weekly podcast.
Yeah.
You know, I might.
You're
yeah, I
good
might-
at talking.
Oh, thank you.
I could help
Thank
you out with that.
She is.
Another way of marketing.
Oh yeah, thank you
We'll
so
chat,
much.
we'll chat
thank
when I
you
come
so
down to
much
get a
for
shake.
having us.
You know, it was so funny too because, dear, you'll get a kick out of this. I called Dina last night and tell her what happened.
So Renee from Fort Myers Beach Yoga Project, she had just come in yesterday, and her and I were talking, and so we were exchanging cards. So she gave me some cards for her yoga business, and I said, well, it's working because I hear about it all the time. People were coming in and telling me about the yoga project here on the beach that she had started, and so Renee goes, "Have you ever heard of Beach Talk?" And Kim and Ed
See?
and I go,
Thank you,
"No."
Renee.
And so she said, well, I'm going to give you their information. So I was literally writing down your information.
I called.
And it wasn't, what,
And I
2 or 3 hours afterwards. And he calls me on the phone and he said,
You're
hey.
crazy. You're going to be millionaires now, thanks to that
Aw.
whole connection there.
I said, that's a God thing. Those are
Right.
big God moments in life. You can't.
That's right. That was
plan.
so
Yeah,
weird.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for coming
Thank
down.
you so much.
We look to
Thank
see
you
you
for
down
having
there
us.
and come and visit.
Come and see us.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
That'd be
Thank
great.
you.
All right. Thanks a
Thank you
lot.
so
Good luck
much.
down there.
Yeah,
Good luck.
Thank you.
And I was just joking about the permit thing.
Yeah.
Just put up some signs anywhere you want.
Been there, done that.
All right, guys. Thanks a
Thank
lot. We'll see
you.
you soon.
Thank you.
And the name of the business, folks, is Vitality. It's 2801 Estero Boulevard. And go down and see them and test out the smoothies they have up there. Very nice folks. And they just met, I think they just met like a year ago on a blind date. So that was cool. So we have about 8 minutes to go.
We'll drink it.
And
And then we'll try it.
you're all right?
They brought samples.
All right. We'll test them out a little later. We'll test them out. Well, that was, that's awesome.
That
The,
is awesome.
The snakes and the shakes.
I know
Today
Herbalife
was,
has been around for
Yeah.
a long time. It's a long established.
yeah,
How
very-
many? 38 years.
They're very well known. So yeah, check them out. 2801 Estero Boulevard. Oh, look at that, dear. You're getting samples right on the air here, which is very cool.
This
my
is-
favorite key lime pie.
Oh,
And
key lime pie, dear. I'll hold your microphone while you.
that is my
Yeah.
all-time favorite. I can't.
Thank
seem to
you.
get away from it.
Thank you. Key lime pie. How does it taste? Be
It's
honest.
very good.
Very good. She
Very-
says. Very
and it's-
nice.
It
That gets a
tastes
10 out of
just
10,
key lime
everybody.
pie. What do you have on the top of it?
Yeah, she's.
Graham cracker.
Oh, great.
Okay,
okay.
graham
yeah.
cracker crust.
All right, dear. Put it down. We'll eat it after the show's over. We have to finish the show today.
Oh my God, that is so good.
So today's show will be called Snakes and Shakes. How do you like that? Get it
That was a
creative.
good one.
Just like that. Get
That
it
was
creative.
a good one. You were very
so,
creative.
thank you guys. Thank you very much. Just
That's
feeding
strawberry banana.
strawberry
And
banana.
strawberry
Even more. Do you want to eat
banana.
more, dear? Or
Well, they're like
there you
little
go.
shots.
She's just going to
They're
shove
like
it right
little
in her
Jello
face there.
shots.
Way to go. You're getting the thumbs up from your dad. Yeah, I give you a shout out to your dad, so you get the thumbs up. He's a regular listener now. I heard he criticized us last week. I saw the little communication between you and him. Well, he didn't like that I was talking about the racial thing came up.
Yeah,
But I
well,
wasn't really talking about the
right.
racial
It
thing.
was.
I was mentioning a podcast.
You were
I was
repeating a
listening
podcast,
to,
right.
and, it was about Curtis Flowers. So, yeah. So I wasn't really bringing that up. I don't.
Bye,
think.
guys.
Thank you,
Thank you
guys. We'll
so
see you down there
much.
soon. Very cool. It
Well,
was
that
really
was fun to have a crow on,
yeah. It was fun to
and
have.
fun to have those guys on.
It was so funny because when I gave the crow people the directions yesterday, I said, and by the way, if you want to bring down a critter or something like that,
Oh,
like
so-
they do on
mhm.
Johnny Carson, then feel free. And then they brought a snake, which
That-
is very
yeah.
cool.
Yeah,
Man,
I love.
we
crow.
had two really good speakers on today. The ladies today were very strong speakers. So I can
very
see,
well spoken.
Yes.
They knew their stuff.
And by the way, I don't mean that to say that most other women are not good speakers.
Well, I think you meant to say most men aren't.
right. Well, no, I didn't mean to say that either. But I'm just saying that they were They were awesome. So you can see why they're successful, because they know their stuff. They get it right out there, and there's no disputing.
Well, I'll tell you, Captain Love is
Yeah,
busy
they are.
today. The firemen are on it today.
Yeah, there's the season is coming.
ambulance. Yeah.
Season is coming to an end, and the fire engines are maybe they're just practicing.
Hope
or something.
everybody's all right.
Yeah. Maybe they're just practicing. Yeah, flip the lights on. Let's see. So this week we had a trip to Vegas, Las Vegas.
You had a trip to Las Vegas. I didn't go.
I have to tell you that on the flight over, there's a good side and a bad side to allowing you to get my flight for me. The good side is you're always going to look out for the business, our business, not our business,
No.
but the
Who
business
you
I work for.
Yes.
That you'll find the cheapest
And
price.
keep the prices down.
Right. But that also means that I don't get to choose my seat, and I have to sit on the aisle seat, because one side of my ass cheek, like if I sit down for longer than an hour, I cramp. So I have to stand in the aisle so I can stretch or stand, and it's
But
just
I
it's
love
painful.
the aisle because then
That's
you
what I'm
can
saying.
get out.
That's
Oh.
what I'm saying. But you got me a middle seat.
Here's the thing. You can go on there and pick your seat. You're
No,
just
you-
going to have to pay more money.
No, you can't pick your seat when you buy on Travelocity. You get what you
No,
get.
You go sign into the.
I tried that.
well,
Didn't work.
then you're not smart enough
Oh.
to figure it out because you can sign in.
Does that mean dumb?
It does.
Okay. So anyway, so I get on the plane, and I did have an aisle seat. So let me retract everything I just said. I did have an aisle seat, but the problem was that there was a really, really large person in the middle. Like there was going to be, it was going to be hard to sit on the aisle seat.
Mm-hmm.
So I prayed to the travel gods that there'd be some open seats, and luckily there was. So
And
that
did
was
they
fine.
allow you to change your seat?
I didn't even ask. I just went and sat somewhere else. Well, I mean, what are they going to do? When the pilot says the doors are shut, I'm moving, man. I'm out of there. So I got to sit right next to the bathroom in the back, which was cool. I love sitting next to the bathroom, not because of the smell or anything, but just in case it's time to go. Got to go.
You know what I forgot to mention? I don't even think you saw it. Our daughter reposted a video that I think it was a friend of hers shot. It was an enormous,
Yeah.
and I mean prehistoric size alligator walking down the
Yeah,
street off of
everybody-
McGregor.
Everybody's seen it by now.
Oh my gosh,
Everybody's seen it.
Huge.
It was-
Huge.
Everybody's seen it. It was on the news. Matt
I
DeVette
know.
or whatever his name is. He was
It
the
was-
one. Yeah,
that
it was
would that
gigantic.
would have scared the living daylights out of me.
The
I bet
question-
they don't get those over there.
The question I have is, when an alligator gets that big, like how do you
No.
find it in the middle of traffic? Is it there's so much construction going on, or I can understand that if there were deer
Listen.
running in the intersection, but how
That-
does an alligator get
An
that?
animal that big goes wherever
I
it
know.
wants to go.
But I mean, do people stop and try and go like this and push it back into the water somehow?
Do that.
I mean, should you be afraid of it?
Yes.
Really?
You should not approach any alligator, let alone one
I-
that is like the size of a vehicle.
I think there's some mating going on now. It's mating season or something, because
Oh,
when I was
maybe.
riding home on the bike yesterday,
I've seen a lot of them out.
there was
Yeah.
one on top of the cement, and
Mhm.
as soon as I came by, I went back into the water. So that's what they said on TV. It's like
You-
mating season.
You should never approach a
Never
wild
approach an
animal.
alligator.
Well, yeah, alligator, any wild animal, keep your distance. Call Crow.
So-
Ask them what to do.
Whenever I go to Las Vegas, that's the time I go on a extreme diet. So I didn't have anything bad to eat. I love running in Las Vegas too, because they have these steps. You got to go up 30 steps and then go over the road, and down
Yes,
30
yep.
steps, and then run. You get to run like a quarter of a mile, and it's the same thing over and over and over. So you get to add all those steps, which was different. But
You
Yeah.
don't. I run on the back road, on the
No.
back street. It's
No.
quite interesting.
okay, you like
It's
running
quite
through the poor
interesting.
neighborhoods, right?
No, they're not poor neighborhoods. They're just businesses that probably you don't find right on the strip.
Such as bail bonds.
On the strip.
Okay, gotcha. No, I'd rather run up and down the stairs in the safe part, but there are a lot of homeless.
It's not unsafe. Oh, I know. I had
Lot
that
of homeless.
experience out there.
Well, the weather's nice, and they're laying
Mhm.
everywhere. So I guess they have to live somewhere. I mean, I can't say they're laying everywhere.
No.
All right.
They're
So,
walking.
And what was I saying? No,
trip.
and then I gamble a dime.
Well,
Didn't
no.
gamble a dime.
You were there for business. I
Yeah.
would hope you wouldn't be mixing business and pleasure.
No,
You're
there
there
was
for
no
work.
pleasure at all. No pleasure at all. No pleasure at all. So that was it. My week was Las Vegas. What was your week?
Well, I had to work, and because you're usually home with the dogs, I had to have Sue, your sister-in-law, and Jilly work
Well,
together
she's my
to keep
sister.
them.
Your sister.
Oh yeah, right, my sister-in-law.
So
Which
the
feels
question,
like my sister
the question
too.
about the dogs is, why do we have 3 dog cages in the house now for one dog? Why do we have 3?
Because
They're everywhere.
Yes.
Why?
Because we were getting new cages for one dog, and the lady that we got them from had two smaller cages, so we just decided to take them, and then we're going to donate the extra one.
Okay, so can we do
Or
something?
use it for Cookie.
Can we do something to get rid of the cages?
Yeah, we can fold it up.
And what did
Do you know how to fold it up?
What did you do to my dog when I was gone that you had her attacking other dogs? What was that all about? Why?
No, she just she has a bad attitude when a new dog comes to the house. She's not friendly.
Then this is a bulldog. A bulldog
Yeah.
that's not friendly. Nobody's ever heard of that.
No, she's
Doesn't
friendly
exist.
with people, but she gets a little skittish with a new dog.
She's
and
not
it was a
skittish
male
with
dog.
our dogs.
No. Well, she knows them. They're familiar to her.
Oh, okay. So next week we're gonna have Megan on. Megan Zeleniak.
Oh,
Zelenak.
nice. Yeah.
Did I say that right, Megan? Megan Zelenak. Zelenak. She's going to come on and she's going to talk about the taste of Fort Myers. Now, Fort Myers Beach. Now, have you told Jackie yet that you're backing out of tasting the food? Have you
I'm
told
not
her that?
backing out. I didn't realize that. I know. Believe me, I'm sad about it too. But it's the same weekend that Jilly is moving, and I'm driving the moving truck from here to Tennessee.
Let me ask you a question. Did Jillian ask you to go, or did you just impose that
No,
on her?
she asked me to go and drive the truck.
Okay.
She asked me to go.
All
She
right,
asked me to
so
help.
Not only are you not going to be here to taste the food, I have to
No.
find a special guest host for Sunday.
Yes.
Do you have any recommendations?
Well, I thought maybe Christy
Christy?
or Jackie.
Well, Jackie, I don't think she's going to be able to do it. She got an event to run.
I know, and Megan's going to be busy. I
Maybe.
don't know.
I'll ask Christy.
Maybe you should ask
Christy Hennessy. Is that who you mean?
Yes.
Yes. She's always great to the show.
She was down here just a few minutes ago. Got her picture taken with the snake.
Is that right?
Yeah.
She came. So you think she was watching at home? She saw the snake, wanted to come down and take a picture.
Yep.
Okay. So what do you have lined up for next week? Being that I already have my guest. I have
I'm
to give you-
working on it.
Yeah, right. I have to give you credit because the Crow people were awesome, and it's the first guest you've lined up in 51 episodes.
Please.
51.
I did one other one, but I don't think I lined that one up.
So, do you think you're going to get one guest every 50 episodes? Is that the
Yes.
way it's going to go?
Hey, if I'll try to beat that.
One guest every 50 episodes. I can't believe we're now 51 episodes in the can.
In the can is
in
true.
the can. And we were expecting Gene here today, but it didn't
know.
work out. So we'll keep you posted on the Gene thing. He's at Beach Walk, and he's got his own room there now, and he's working to fix his back. So we hope to have him on soon and do his little shtick at the beginning. But
That's right.
we'll be back next week, and if anything crazy happens during the week, you'll get a news flash from probably the newspaper or somebody else, not from us. So we'll see you in 1 week when we talk about the taste. Oh, by the way, we're going to have the people from the Florida Podcast Network on the 18th of May.
Oh, nice.
They're coming down. Glenn and Jemmy are coming down. They're going to tell us about, they're RVing it from, where are they? Orlando or Ocala or somewhere up there.
Yeah.
Somewhere with an O. And
So they're gonna RV. They're gonna come down in an RV.
they're
and stay
RVing.
in
And
it?
what they
Okay.
do is they do a show of Florida, Finding Florida. So
Right.
Fort Myers is going to be their focus for that week.
Got it.
Not just Fort Myers Beach, but all of Fort Myers. So they're going to be coming down on the 18th. So that'll be fun.
Yeah, that will be fun.
And until then, folks, keep your feet on the ground and keep reaching for the stars. That's Casey Kasem.
I know. Why did you steal it
American.
from him?
Well, it's
Come
a
up
little-
with your own.
It's a little tribute. We will see you soon.
Have a good week, folks.